Hello and thank you for tuning in to Pilot Savvy Tech Tuesday video. In this episode, we're going to discuss the 90-day inspection. And it continues on the series of periodic maintenance or calendar inspections for your flight simulator. And this one builds on the previous ones that you may have seen already in my previous videos, some of my previous videos. My name is Chris. Let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna first pull up the your favorite browser as usual. I'm using Chrome, and this is the quickest way to get there. Going to Pilot Savvy. Going to pilotsavvy.com. Then I'm going down to click on the knowledge base, and we're going to flight sim inspections, and we're going to look for our 90-day inspection, 90-day flight sim checklist, and we're at our 90-day inspection checklist, and we're going to go down. And so we have the bullet points for this one here, the abbreviated checklist. We're going to check the hardware integrity, and we're going to check the software, Windows drivers, UPS, uninterrupted power supply, or battery backup, and there's a difference in the two, and the visual alignment, so the bezel displays basically. And that's something I gotta admit, I haven't fully mastered that, but I got it good enough to where it works for me. And I'll go over you to the process of how to do that. So let's start with the hardware integrity. We're gonna check the frame. Now, this you may have, if you watched some previous videos here, you've seen this already listed on some of the former ones. This, the hardware integrity one, I think that may have been included in the 7-day, I'm not sure, it may have been on the 28-day. So it's just designed to make sure that your frame and everything is tightened. Especially I see a lot of great YouTube videos where the channels are doing, the channel owners are doing a good job demonstrating the motion simulators. That's a popular thing now, and that thing, you're talking about a 180, 190 or more pound person there. Bouncing around on that thing. The hydraulics are electrical, they have different methods, and you want to be mindful of that. Things can work their way loose. I'm sure the manufacturers, this is where you would get any kind of manufacturer recommendation, the documentation that comes with those, and I don't have one, so I can't demo it. And you want to make sure that you're compliant with whatever interval inspections they recommend. This is just the overall 90-day simulation, 90-day simulator inspection. Now, one of the things, some other things that's covered in previous ones, like your software, Windows updates, and I believe there's some other ones also that maybe, but I know the software and Windows updates that's covered on the 14-day one. And so anyway, then you have let's go ahead and go down to the amplifier one. So the way I have this set up, if you've done this a time or two, you might not need to go through the details on how to perform all these inspections. So, but we'll go through the amplified checklist. So the first thing I mentioned about the nuts, bolts, and basically examine the framework of your sim, and any screws, make sure that they're tightened. And I'm going to show you some examples here. So examples of what I'm talking about is, these aren't structures. Let me show you a good example of structure. There we go. So you have trying to get an angle where I can point to it. There we go. So these are some screws that are holding my frame together. You see that's definitely loose, and I know why that's loose. You can see it moving. That's actually moving. And you have a screw there. And I'm gonna work my way here. You have, so these are frame. Um, the frame I use here, I don't know if I published that video of me actually modifying the Cessna, the real sim gear Cessna sim, but I'm going to publish that. That's going to be in my do-it-yourself series, and eventually I'm going to get to that part. And you see, some of these don't have screws in them because I made a modification where that's not really necessary. So you'll see some open screws on mine. But some of the ones I'm concerned about and I want to keep on top of, it won't affect the functionality. Well, yes, it can. But these, here we go. This is a good example. This is a fade button, and you see, I'm able to turn it with my finger there. So it's time for me, that this 90-day tells me it's time for me to tighten these nuts down. So you can see I'm able to turn it with my hand, and this is not an issue here, but yeah, that's pretty tight. And gear handle. So you don't want these. You definitely gotta go through my own inspection here as I do this. But you see, you get the gist of what I'm talking about there, and anything that's mounted, and structural-wise, that's the main thing it's talking about there. So, and go back to the rest of the checklist here. So you want to go down. Alright, so tighten fasteners, appropriate tools, hex wrench, etc. Device mounting, ensure all peripherals, yokes, rudder pedals are securely mounted. And these are just kind of my rudder pedals. They're kind of standalone, so they're not mounted to anything. But if they was mounted to a frame, you want to check that. Yoke, it is mounted to a frame, so you do want to. That is something that you want to check and make sure, and because it is mounted. Yeah, my yoke, my joystick is mounted to a frame. And just make sure that this is it can stand some tightening, and a lot of my stuff I'm in and out of it, tightening, untightening, and just for demo purpose. So my stuff is probably going to be a little looser. And so we go down and inspect the cables. Pretty much every inspection, all the way from the daily inspection to the current one, all the way through the annual. Each one of those checklists are gonna ask you to check the USB and power cables, because things get moved around. Even if you don't touch them, they're still subject to things happening that cause them to work their way loose. So that's a good one to stick to there. So anyway, software and driver updates. Software and driver updates. You've seen that before. Just a minute here, and get back. I lost my place here. Software and driver updates. So this is Windows updates, and it tells you how to get there. You can go to settings, updates, security, update and security updates. But I'll show you how I like to get there. I'm going to go to my favorite way. My favorite way is to go here and then type updates. And check for updates. And here we are. You're up to date. So these are the Windows updates. And you have other updates. Now Windows catches a lot of those. A lot of some updates that are not Windows specific. There's a lot of different apps that you have, like you notice on all of my updates. Let me get out of here, but this is the Windows updates, and you have other updates like Navigraph, and I believe I've gone over that update. So I use Navigraph to keep my navigation aids current and up to date. So if I'm flying an approach, which I haven't in a while, I haven't flown the actual instrument approach for a while, but just even the fixes flying VFR going fix to fix. You've seen it on my cross country videos. I like to use those because it keeps you on the beaten path. So let's go to where you would go to update the Navigraph. So I'm going to go to, oh, actually, yeah, Navigraph. Let's go here. Okay, here, this is where I say, hey, this is laid down. This used to be up here, so must have been an update. Windows updates sometimes change, rearrange icons. So Navigraph flight management system. Let's go there. Do you want to make changes? Allow changes? Yes. So this is it keeps the charts updated with Jefferson, the latest and the greatest Jefferson. If there's an update on the aircraft database, there's an update for your flight sim. I love this. This is the latest 2608 revision, revision 2, revision 1. So you go there, you go through the process, and I've demoed it on other videos, and that's where you go to keep that up to date. Now there is a what I consider, you notice I have bell arc, so I'm not going to click on that because that's going to go scan through and show every single detail of the flight sim and what it's connected to, IP addresses, MAC addresses. This is a good way. The bell arc advisor is actually, it's free for personal use, and I recommend using that. It's a good way of taking a snapshot once you get everything together. If you build your own sim, or even if you don't, just setting up your sim for the first time, or anytime, just periodically go through here, click on this here bell arc. Let me see. Okay, I don't want to actually do that. Yeah, because it goes through and you just go to Bell Arc Advisor, just Google it, Bell Arc Advisor, and it will allow you to download a free version here. It puts like a file on your desktop there where it can scan your system. You give them permission, but they've been around decades. Absolutely no drama that I heard from them. I've been using them for at least 2 decades. And so I know and trust them. I worked at a company, a small company, and we needed some kind of tool to do an aggressive inventory, or not aggressive, but to do a complete inventory of the network. And I selected this, and I broke this up, and they said, "Yep, here you go. Go ahead and order it." So it works, and it gives you. It'll definitely cover everything. Any kind of the latest, any app that you have on your computer that does not have that's not up to date, it'll let you know, and it'll update them for you. You just click on it and give it permission. So that's the other NVIDIA. Probably know by now, I'm a if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of person. So if you have NVIDIA, there is an app that if you have NVIDIA, it has it on it. But my decades of troubleshooting and doing desktop support, whenever someone wants me to update updates there, they try to do the right thing and update the NVIDIA. Let me see if I can just get it to come up here. Okay, NVIDIA control panel, because I do have a monster graphics card. So was that 5608 or something like that? And this is the card that controls it. So yeah, I said 5608, so I have the 5060 Ti GeForce card. This is one way to control it, and I went over this on another video. If you are encountering a problem that you can't resolve in the Windows environment, go ahead and use this to control it. So this shows my card, items that are plugged in, and then there's that extra there I could plug something in. But let me show you my way. Right click on any clear space on your desktop, go to display settings. This is we're using a Windows tool, and this shows what you have. Now this is, okay, this is not showing one of my displays, and that is so here. Okay, this is, let's see what's going on here. Right, okay, and I think I see why. Yep, remember earlier in the checklist, what did I mention? I mentioned about cables. So here's what we're gonna do to get this back up and going. It's you can see that there's the right display. The right display is actually disconnected. So get back behind here, and this is one of the reasons you check the part of the checklist for each one is to check all the connections, the power and the data connection. All right, so you notice it showed back up. And what I did is reconnected the power, the HDMI cable that worked its way loose on display number 4. So continuing on. So this is where I don't like to. I like to use the Windows. It does everything. You go back some years ago, you may have needed to tweak the NVIDIA for custom things. There's some custom things that the Windows might not be able to do. But if you're trying to do those things, you've already done the research, and it goes beyond the scope of what this video covers. I'll cover some of those things maybe in future videos. If someone wants to cover something specific, I could research it and do a video. And so now we're back to, where are we here? Yep, display graphics, cross display, peripheral. So any updates on those, you would go to the manufacturer site, and they would actually list anything that's outdated. You typically go to the manufacturer site like NVIDIA or AMD, and you punch in the number of the serial number, or even MAC address, or they have some of them have a couple, like 3 different numbers, so you can punch in, or codes you can punch in to identify that specific item. I like to do the specific item because it may be something unique, that unique chipset in that particular item. And then you'll get a list of updated things that needs to be updated. So then you got your UPS, uninterrupted power supply. So I mentioned earlier about the uninterrupted power supply. The difference between the UPS uninterrupted power supply and the backup, the battery backup. Now the difference is, well, it's in the name. You have one that's uninterrupted. You lose power, your computer will continue to function. And then you have your battery backup. That's gonna keep power going to it, but your things are running at 60 cycles per second. It might miss a beat. A UPS is going to stay in sync with that 60 cycles per second. So as soon as something isn't right, that next cycle is going to jump in there and keep things going. So your flight sim, one of the things that I made an earlier video, and I addressed I viewed a flight sim as a network, because it is a network. You look at a regular desktop computer, and you're not going to see all these things. You got so many things on a flight sim interacting with one another. They're plugged into a card or multiple cards, and they're talking to the operating system. and that's talking to the X-plane. A lot of communications going backwards and forth. All of these things, every button, every lever, they're talking to the computer that's talking to X-plane that's talking to the aircraft. I mean, there's a lot of communications going on. So that uninterrupted power supply, what it does is it keeps things in sync. So that's to me. I don't currently have one. I have had them. The one I had, it kind of became obsolete some years ago, and I haven't been practicing what I preach. What I'm preaching here, should I say? I do need to get one. I am going to get one, and and that way we're not worried about the problem, especially with the heat waves and floods and everything going on. You could lose power, not, you know, you're kind of out. Now you're not going to lose any data, but it just, uh, if you could think back to working in a corporate environment and the power goes out all of a sudden and it comes back up and you log into your computer and you notice that you're not, there's some glitches here and there. Those apps that you will sync with that's on the network, they're not operating as smoothly as they are. You may have to individually log into them. So same thing with your flight sim. If you're in the middle of using it. Now the good thing about the flight sim is you can often resolve those issues by simply shutting down and restarting. So anyway, moving along. So if you have a backup, you test it, and if you plugged into a power strip like I am, yeah, it's a good idea to press. They have a test button on a lot of them, and just press that test button there to test it if present. And it's not a good idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea to just, with everything shut down, just turn the power strip off and turn it back on, just to cycle it through. Now we have your visual alignment. Okay, now this isn't my strongest point, and there's a lot of really good videos out there on how to align, and they're based on the video. They're based on um, the display. Each display, you go into a electronics store, go walk down the TV aisle, and there's so many different TV brands and video qualities, aspect ratio. All that has to do with the yeah. It's all of those are different. So there's different configurations. So this is speaking on the bezel alignment. So I'm going to cover everything I can outside of X-plane before starting up X-plane to show you where to go to make those adjustments. And like I said, there's some great videos that have some more in depth. They're just on there. You can do a whole video, multiple videos, just on alignment, because there's no one size fits all. Boy, I wish there was. So I have smaller monitors, and they get the job done. They're actually, I'm in a kind of a tight space there, and they actually worked out. I removed the largest one I had there, and I went with three smaller ones. So let's go. Okay. I don't mess with the color. I've never had good luck adjusting the colors and brightness. You can do the brightness and colors if you want, but I go with the default setting. The manufacturer knows better than I do on how to set the colors. But if you have a specific reason to go ahead and adjust the color, you do that from the individual display. You click on the menu button on that display, and it'll allow you to adjust the color. And yeah, there's some things here. Definitely, I'll apply the "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" things. If you have problems with where you need to adjust your pixels, you can do that. There's an adjustment for cycles per second, and that one I have had to make some legitimate changes on that, and you can actually change the cycles per second. Here we go. So 60 hertz, 60 cycles per second. I could remember doing some desktop support, and I got a call from a customer saying that the display was blurred. And I looked at it, I saw it perfectly, but they became frustrated, saying, "Can't you see that's all blurry? How can you look at that and say that it's perfectly fine when I'm looking you and I are looking at the same display?" So I came here and I thought about it. Said it may be a refresh rate. You don't get many of those, so we're talking an environment that had at that location I think it was something like 2,000 customers, and only two I can think over several years, only two customers complained about this or had an issue with this. So I went to the refresh rate and click on this down, and I just started tweaking it there. So he wasn't able to see 60 without a blur. So I cranked it down, just go in small intervals. So you have your 59.94 and go down or even go up. So 60 is not working, then go up and up. And you let it refresh, and then you change the numbers, and then you ask them to walk it through. So if you're looking at your displays and you're thinking, it hasn't been the same since I started wearing glasses or something, or you went to the eye doctor and they described something to you, an issue there, and then you've been having problems with your display. This is where you go to make that change. So again, that's in Windows. I right-clicked on the desktop, went to display settings to get there. Okay, now so that's adjusted by the Windows uh, settings adjustment, pixels. Yeah, some of those things, just don't. I just showed you a one-off there. So we're gonna look more on the bezel alignment. So where they're talking about there is you start out Windows, and you right-click settings. We came here before. You get everything arranged here that you want to. It's gonna Microsoft Windows is gonna relay this to X-Plane. So X-Plane, they're going to get this information, and it's going to lay it out. Now there's a reason, I don't recall right off the top of my head, but there's a reason why that information may get scrambled. It's all in how X-Plane interprets the display as opposed to Microsoft. So Laminar, that's a great company there. No complaints on them at all. So waiting on this to come up. Okay, it's up and up here. We can actually I want to do a flight. Yeah, I want to do a flight. Well, we're not going to leave the ground, but we're just going to launch a flight. So my favorite Diamond DA50 RG, and we're going to fly out of Montgomery Field, my favorite, and going to leave it at real world and real time. Start the flight. Don't care about the calibration. Ignore. So this is doing updates too. I covered in another video on how you can go in and manually do it. Not gonna, for time's sake, we're not gonna go over all of those or that again. But you can go in and into the Explain folder and do this. Okay, so let's talk. So my displays are. I'm satisfied with how they are. Now, that's these. Wasn't always the case. So my displays, double check my memory. These are 32-inch monitors. I have three 32-inch monitors, and so these three 32-inch monitors. And get where you can see this here. So this is how I'm seeing it. So in the corner, these match close enough. So this matches close enough. The lines, they go down like how I'm expecting. It's not perfect, but it's perfect enough for what I do. And sometimes at my leisure, I'll tweak those numbers. And the same thing on the right side. Right side here. Now this is a little bit more. Let's see here. Okay, again up here. Get it where you can see it. Okay, here we go. So top, you can see it kind of comes together the way it's supposed to. Down the bottom here, I just kind of moved the display a little bit to try to get that chord back right. But these are, get it the way you can see it as much as possible on the screen. They kind of come together the way they should. So it's not there, it's off just slightly, but I spent a lot of time to get it to where it's at now. And to add to it, each aircraft, each vendor for the different types of aircraft, they have their own things. Like this is, you notice you see the ceiling here and the instrument panel. And I'm kind of limited on how much I was able to manipulate that. My research tells me that that's just how it is for some aircraft. And because I can sit there, you know, it works to my advantage leaving it with this much instrument panel is exposed, because when I'm filming, if it was all the way down, like how, let me take this all the way down, whereas off the panel, and I'll explain to you why this, it looks like it's at an angle, but it's not. It's a real sight view. Then I would get that ceiling, and there's no way to bring that up. I've had it on a larger screen, a huge screen, and it's still the same ratio. So I'm going to put it back to neutral. All right, so that's neutral. Works for me because I can fly and describe. You and I looking out the same window. And whereas if it was me just flying along and not really caring about an audience and what they see, those buttons would be like these buttons here, they would be barely peeking up here, so that I'm looking at the my instrument panel, and it's going to kind of line up with these here buttons. My little thing, you know, I started a video, and I'm gonna go over it. I indicated how I was I indicated how I was building this here. This is a button box for a race car, and I modified these. I'm gonna modify them again, but I put my own buttons in there for the landing lights. So what I was attempting to do is to make it the same as this diamond buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll zoom in here, show you what I was going for there. And this is kind of getting off the beaten path, but this is what I was shooting for. These buttons to match these buttons, or these buttons to match these buttons, should I say. So anyway, getting back to right, so we're back to the wiki, the Pilot Cyber wiki, and what we haven't done yet is to show you how to make these adjustments. I showed you what's ideal. Now let's actually go here and it defaulted to graphics. That's where you want to be. If it's somewhere else, you want to click on the graphics at the top. Let me go to a different view. Okay, so yep, go to graphics, and then down here is where you will make the adjustment. Unused, that's the one that's off on the side that I use for my recording studio, OBS. And then I have these. This will look familiar to you. The layout is kind of like, yeah, this surprisingly it matches what Windows has. So you have the main monitor, full screen simulator, full screen, that's the left display, and full screen, the right simulator, the right display. This is the next plane. You have a similar one in all your other flight sims. And then these are displayed as multifunction display, primary flight display, and multifunction. So that's your G1000. So to adjust those, not going to mess with any of these numbers or sliders. You have your lateral for all of these, and it's going to be the same for all of these. It's just you find numbers. My recommendation: start out with the default setting and make minor adjustments. Lateral field of view, vertical field of view, and you can go down and you can make. There's even some more options. These numbers are the ones that I've had to mess with the most. The lateral is rotation, that's lateral, and self-explanatory there. But when you start adjusting them, they're not as explanatory, self-explanatory. So see this here, it says 10 degrees offset. Then this is the left one. It's minus 65 degrees. That's the one that's on the left that aligns the curvature of the cockpit and the side door. They match perfectly, almost perfectly. And it's way off. So it's not a one, it's not across the board. I wish it was that easy. In the earlier days of video, your flight sims, they would have been like from the viewpoint of you sitting in the middle of the cockpit, which is not realistic. What X-Plane and other flight sims do is they make it where I'm going to go down here. It's offset, so I'm going to set this to my default settings. And this is, notice in front is the pilot's view. That G1000 there is exactly what the pilot is going to see in front of them in a real airplane. Okay, so what you do is, what they've done is offset it to the left. I made the adjustments where it offsets to the left, and as a result, you see the right side of this switch console on top of the dash, and everything else is based on you sitting in the left seat and looking off on the right. So as in real life, if you sit inside of a real airplane, you're going to see the top of the dash, and you're going to see a little bit of the cowling. And if you glance over to the co-pilot side, you're not sitting there. If you was to move onto the co-side pilot, you're going to see more of what's on the right, and then the left side here is going to be is what you're seeing there. So it's realistic. It looks kind of awkward looking at it. I spent a lot of time before I figured that out, trying to get it to line up perfectly where I saw the same thing on each side. That's just not realistic. And I'll show you something else here also. So I'm going to go left view. So I'm in the left seat, and that's what you see out on the left. So you're looking out to the left, you're going to get that view. Now I can scroll down a little bit, and you can see the storm window. And then off on the right, when you're looking off on the right, you're going to see a different view, because that's realistic. Just turning your head to the right, and that's what you're going to see. realistically. You're going to be able to see the person to the right of you, so you see the headrest there, and you see the wing to the right, and but not that same angle because it's partially blocked by the seat. And you can look because you have your focal length is you're seeing that storm window without having to scroll down to see it. Let's see what I mean there. Yeah, so you're seeing this storm window. So that's the view you're going to see. You're looking out the right window. You're going to see that, and it kind of curves up, and you see where you're going to be able to see where you pull the latch or the handle or strap for opening and closing the door up here and everything. That's realistic and part of the roof. And so let's get us back to our main. Okay, and so that covers all of what we need here. I think we're done. Let me make sure before. See, multi-calibration, in-sim alignment, adjust settings, color matching. So what we covered, just recap real quick. We covered the hardware integrity, inspecting the frame, fasteners, etc. Then updating the windows and other drivers, and we covered the uninterrupted power supply and the importance of them and the different types, and the visual alignment of the displays. So if you like the video, go ahead and give a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to add, go ahead and leave a comment. And if you want to be notified of future video releases, I release one now, a flight video on Monday, and a Tech Tuesdays. It covers any issues that was encountered during that flight. It may not have been the most previous flight because some of the fixes require me to do some research, and so I may not be able to air that next day on that Tech Tuesday. But that's what Tech Tuesdays are. Every Tuesday designed to address any technical issues encountered during the flights, sim flights. Then we have the on Wednesday, it's gonna pick back up. Kind of that fell to the wayside. The do-it-yourself videos that covers what this whole thing started out as, building a flight simulator. So it's not, necessarily going to be in a garage, go break up some wood and some metal and start cutting, but it does cover some of that. But I'm going to start out basic. I'm going to just take a step back, and I'm going to start with the very basics. Some of them I've covered on other videos, but I'm going to readdress how they fit in with do-it-yourself. I'm going to start out just simply connecting devices like a joystick, connecting, configuring rudder pedals, and I just may re-air those same ones there, but it starts out building a basic flight simulator, then getting into the buttons and knobs and switches that you see on this flight sim. So, and going beyond that, I have some projects lined up. I mentioned Linux simulator. I discovered how to get the X-Plane working with that. It's published, but I never actually fully tried it. I connected it, and then I left it alone. So I'll be covering that as well.